Imagine, if you will, the dreadful predicament of finding yourself captured by the Apache warriors. Your heart races as the realization grows upon you that you are entirely at their mercy. These Native American warriors were masters of psychological warfare, skilled in striking fear into the hearts of their enemies with calculated precision. One of their preferred methods of punishment was infamously known as the gauntlet. Picture a narrow pathway flanked on either side by fierce Apache warriors wielding clubs and whips. As a hapless prisoner, you are compelled to run through this nightmarish gauntlet, subjected to a barrage of strikes that rain down upon you. Each blow leaves you battered and bruised, transforming this harrowing journey into a terrifying tunnel of excruciating pain. While the Apache employed diabolical methods of punishment, it is important to acknowledge that other tribes and societies developed their own distinctive approaches to dealing with prisoners of war. Mental torture. The punishments that the Apache tribe imposed on their prisoners had severe effect on their mental health. Their psychological trauma caused by these cruel methods left deep scars on the captives, impacting their well-being long after their physical wounds had healed. Constant fear of being struck without any means to defend yourself would create a strong sense of vulnerability. These feelings could lead to anxiety, being overly alert, and feeling emotionally distressed. Stake torture. In the punishment known as stake torture, the Apache tribe would subject the prisoners to an ongoing cycle of cruelty and humiliation. The prisoners would be tightly tied to stakes in the Apache camp, leaving them feeling trapped and helpless. During this time, the Apache tribe would unleash a barrage of hurtful words, insults, and mocking, constantly reminding the captives of their worthlessness. The impact of this punishment on the prisoners' mental well-being was devastating. Imagine enduring days, weeks, or even longer, constantly surrounded by negativity and belittlement. The stake torture method, where prisoners were bound and subjected to relentless verbal abuse, ridicule, and humiliation, would have devastating effects on their self-esteem and sense of worth. Enduring prolonged periods of degradation and being made to feel utterly worthless would chip away at the prisoner's mental resilience. The constant barrage of negative messages and emotional abuse would likely contribute to the development of feelings of shame, depression, and a profound sense of powerlessness. Over time, the prisoners internalized these negative messages, and the constant degradation took a toll on their mental strength. The cycle of being small and unimportant became deeply ingrained, and it created a lasting impact on their mental well-being. The emotional scars left by the stake torture were profound. The captives experienced deep shame, overwhelming sadness, and profound sense of powerlessness. The constant exposure to hurtful words and ridicule left them feeling emotionally drained and demoralized. They carried these feelings of shame and sadness with them long after their physical wounds have healed, as the emotional trauma remained deeply embedded in their psyche. The psychological impact of the stake torture was far-reaching. The prisoners' self-confidence and belief in their own abilities were shattered. They struggled with feeling of worthlessness and found it difficult to trust others or themselves. The experience of being treated as insignificant and constantly subjected to emotional abuse created a lasting sense of vulnerability and fear. It profoundly affected their mental well-being, leaving them with emotional scars that would take time and support to heal. If they were ever fully able to recover, this prolonged period of degradation and being treated as completely worthless would break down the captive's mental strength. Harshness. The desert punishment was a truly agonizing experience for the prisoners. They were left out in the scorching sun with no water or shelter to protect them. This caused not only physical suffering like dehydration and painful sunburns, but it also had a deep impact on their minds. Imagine being in that situation. The prisoners would feel extreme discomfort, both physically and mentally. They would be filled with despair and a sense of hopelessness, and there seemed to be no relief or escape from the relentless heat. It is like being trapped in a never-ending cycle of misery. These conditions could have long-lasting effects on their mental health. the prisoners might start to feel resigned, as if there was no way out of their suffering. This feeling of resignation can contribute to symptoms of depression, where they might lose interest in things they once enjoyed and have a hard time finding motivation. Moreover, the psychological trauma of enduring the desert punishment could also lead to post-traumatic stress disorder. The intense stress and helplessness experienced during that time could haunt the prisoners long after they were freed. They might have nightmares or flashbacks, reliving the torment that they went through. They could become easily startled or constantly on edge, as if danger was always lurking. Manipulative tactics. To make things even worse, the Apache tribe played cruel mind games with their prisoners. They would give false hope of escape, only to snatch them away at the last moment. These manipulative tactics caused even more emotional pain, destroyed trust, and made the prisoners feel confused, betrayed, and completely powerless. It is playing with someone's feelings and then leaving them in a state of total confusion and despair. As a result, prisoners developed a deep sense of distrust toward the Apache. They found it hard to trust anyone and became unsure about what to believe or expect. It was a constant struggle with uncertainty, never knowing the next disappointment or betrayal would come. These experiences could have a lasting impact on their mental health, potentially leading to symptoms of psychological trauma. Recognizing the complexity of the aftermath is crucial in understanding the immense challenges that are being faced by those who endured such horrific experiences. It reminds us that each person's journey to healing is unique, and the effect of trauma can be long-lasting. It emphasizes the importance of providing support and understanding to survivors, while also advocating for a world where such forms of psychological manipulation and cruelty are left behind. The trauma. While the Apache punishing methods may have worked to make their enemies afraid and show their power, it is crucial to remember the impact they had on the mental health of their prisoners. The trauma caused by these punishments went deep, affecting how they saw themselves, how they felt inside, and how they lived their life. It is important to recognize and understand the long-term effects of these punishments, so we can better understand the immense struggles faced by those who went through such terrible experiences. The prisoner's sense of self, their belief in their own worth, and the emotional well-being were all profoundly affected by the punishments they endured. It is like their inner world was shaken and damaged. It took a toll on every aspect of their lives. The pain and suffering they endured didn't just end with the physical wounds. It continued to affect them long after the bruises and scar had healed. It is not easy to overcome such deep wounds and rebuild a sense of self-worth and emotional well-being. It takes strength and resilience to heal from such trauma, as we should honor the courage of those who have managed to do so. In conclusion, the punishments inflicted by the Apache tribe on their prisoners were undeniably harsh and had profound effects on their mental health. It is important to remember that the Apache employed these punishments within a historical context, where survival depended on being the strongest and most feared tribe. They lived in a time when warfare and dominance were central to their way of life. While their methods seem brutal to us today, it is crucial to understand that they have used them as means of asserting dominance, protecting their people, and deterring future aggression. Thank you for joining us today on our journey to explore the diabolical punishments inflicted by the Apache tribe on their prisoners. We hope that the insights gained have deepened your understanding of this historical context and the profound impact it had on mental health of those involved. For more knowledge, please like, share, and subscribe. Stay connected and continue learning with us.